No, I absolutely love that because, you're right. It really is all about having a positive mindset, right? Everybody's always asking for the secret. What's the secret? What do I have to do to make this thing happen? But just like you just explained and how you found out, that the key was not just trying some new diet or trying some new program or trying some new supplement or some drink or some pill or anything like that. It's really truly about finding a lifestyle that you can realistically live. It needs to be sustainable, right? So again, we're not looking for some magic pill. We're looking for a set of habits, of traits, of things that you can be consistent with that will really make a difference in ultimately what it is that you're doing on a daily basis. And so when people ask you for that secret, just like you're explaining to me, you know, there is no secret, right? And you have to choose healthy foods. You got to watch your portion control. You've got to exercise multiple times a week. And basically, you have to burn more calories than you're taking in. If, of course, you're looking to lose weight. Now, of course, if you're looking to gain muscle, that's a whole different ball game. But when it comes down to losing weight, just like you explained and just like you've described, you really have to adopt a new lifestyle. Because the thing is, when you become this new person, you're going to live a completely different lifestyle. You're going to be able to do more things physically. Your mind is going to be sharper. And then, probably what I think is the most important part is your confidence is going to shoot through the roof. Now, why would that be? Because, for a long time, many people just think pain is just a part of my life, or this extra weight is just a part of my life, or I'm just destined to be skinny. Instead of thinking, what can I do to combat what my body is trying to tell me? It's more of just a thought of, this is the way it's going to be. This is the way I'm going to stick to it. And I'll just figure out life. But you don't have to be in pain. You don't have to live overweight and unhappy with yourself. And if you're underweight, if you're skinny, if you don't have the muscle you're looking for, you don't have to live like that. But you are going to have to change the way you live in order to achieve these new results. Just like I've said in the past, you have to identify yourself as that new individual, as that successful individual, in order for you to truly do the things that has to happen daily in order for you to actually be that person. But again, it's just like in that statement, it's just like, you don't have to wait until you become that person in order to think like that. Because whoever that future version is of yourself didn't wait until then. They made a decision today, right? We've got a new year coming up. We've got consistent. This is a normal time of year where people are like, 2021, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. And how long did that last? But now we're coming to the thought again. We got 10 days left in the year. Yeah. And what are you thinking you want to accomplish in 2022? And whatever that thought is, now it's time to start putting the ideas in place and learning the habits that you have to follow on a daily basis. And mindset is huge, but you're never going to get the confidence in that mindset until you build the competence in what you're actually trying to do. When you can go to sleep at night thinking, I can't 100% figure this out, but I did this, and this. And I got those tips from a very credible coach. You can put your head on the pillow knowing you followed the system, you put your best effort in, and you just have to follow the course. You just have to believe in it. Now, of course, you want to make sure you do some good, credible research before you start working onto a program. But the key there is many of the things that are going to change your life are 100% not in your knowledge bank yet. You may have an idea or a thought of it, but it's not a practice that you put into your daily life. Because if it was, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in, right? But that's okay. We all have growth in different areas of life that we have to do. But in order for us to get down that road at 60 instead of 10 miles per hour, we need someone to teach us how to drive the car, right? You can get into, I remember learning how to drive a stick shift car. And when I got into that thing, I could get somewhere, but it's only because it was at the bottom of the hill and I was rolling there. I didn't know, I had to learn how to drive that car. It was much more than just turning on the car, pushing the gas, and driving the steering wheel. Just like this challenge that you're trying to overcome, there is much more to it than just exercising, eating right, and reading a good book every day, right? Those are like the basic ingredients, But each of those has to be very systematic and make sense to fit into your lifestyle and routine, or else it's not going to be sustainable. So I highly, highly, highly recommend, as you make your way into this new year, if you are into the New Year's resolutions, if you want to make next year your best year possible, what you really have to do is break this whole thing down step by step. I want you to look at how you're eating. I want you to look at how you're sleeping. I want you to look at how you're training your body, as well as how you are building your mind. All of this comes together. And unfortunately, there's no real true way to do it without it all. I know there's so many pills and drinks and trainers and waist trainers and all sorts of stuff that works according to the pictures you've seen. But that doesn't mean it's going to work that fast for you, or if it even work at all. So you really have to make sure that this whole thing is custom to you. It's gotta be, because it has to be sustainable. So again, the main point of this here, and I'm glad to still have you on it, because the goal really is to understand that there is no secret, right? Everyone asks for the secret, and there is no secret. Ultimately, it's just going to be a combination of attacking your life in a holistic way and making sure that everything is adding up to the right place. Every arrow is pointing in the same direction. You can put so much effort in, and there'll be one category that needs to be important, but you're just not even thinking about it at all, that a proper coach would know, hey, wait, we skipped the right turn back there. We're never going to even make it to the restaurant. That's the type of coaching that you need. So again, I hope this helps out. I want you to try to look into some books, try to look into some new audios, some podcasts, instead of focusing on what's going to be the magic diet for me. I want you to think about this thing holistically. I want you to think, yes, I got to figure out my diet, but I also got to figure out how to train. So if you're figuring out your diet, you need to know what to eat, what not to eat. If you're trying to figure out how to train, you need to know how to exercise so that you don't injure yourself. That's one of the biggest things that can take people out of this whole thing. I think there's really two things in exercise that takes you out of it. It's one, an injury. Injury is going to shut you down, put you out. But then two is putting in a ton of time, maybe not getting an injury, but doing 2-hour workouts a couple days a week, and after a couple months having no result. You know, the definition of insanity is repeating the same action over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So why would you continue? It's insane. But what has to happen is the other part of insanity there is you're still trying to go about this whole thing by yourself. And that is probably the most difficult thing to do, especially when you don't know the path. You don't know the most effective path. It's like trying to climb a mountain and digging your way through all the brush. Like, man, this is tough. This is just the beginning of the mountain. And a simple guide would have been like, well, actually what we did was we made a path. You got to walk a little bit to the left for about 10 minutes, but then it's a straight shot all past all this grassy stuff. But then we got to hit the rocks. So there's another path that we'll go to make sure we get past the rocks properly. That advice right there will change your experience in the entire trip. I mean, me digging through a whole bunch of grass, 7 foot tall, I'm most likely not going to continue the trip, or I'm going to take a break. And then if I found out that there was a path over there, I will realize, okay, I wasted a ton of time here, but I'm following the path for the rest of this mountain. So I want you to think about that. Are you on a path of success, or are you just guessing, trying to figure it out? There is a really big difference between where you end up when you're following a proven path, or if you're just guessing, should I make a right turn or a left turn, or just go through the light? So take your time. I want you to have that positive mindset. I want you to get out of the thought process there is some special secret. And I want you to really start thinking about the processes and the thoughts that you have on a daily basis that are either guiding you towards your goal or steering you away. And it's not meant to be 100% every single time, but we do want to get into that 80% range. Because if you're shooting for 100%, you're not going to make it. None of us are 100%. But if your goal is to get to that 75, 80% every single day, making decisions that are going to take you to your goal, you have 100 times more chance of actually getting there. Don't strive for perfection. Focus on progression.